Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and what a show we've got for you this morning. Elon Musk hinting again at buying Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo speaking out about the lies and how the big reveal is coming in a fortnight. We've also got John Murtagh under increasing pressure as director of football. Could he get the sack he deserves? Casemiro is apparently now more likely than Frankie de Jong. We'll get into that because I don't think he's likely at all. So what does that mean for Casemiro, Caicedo and de Jong over the next 2 weeks? Also ridiculous links to people like João Felix and Icardi as we tumble from one disaster to another in this transfer window, and a lot more as well. So lots to get into. Abdoudi says it's a joke, Mark, from Elon Musk. We know it was a joke, but actually there are other strands. There was another story last night about Manchester United being sold in the next 24 months, which is nothing to do with that. And we've got updates in relation to another 2 bids as well. Are Manchester United, with or without Elon Musk, about to be sold? Is this the beginning of the end of the Glazers? We'll be delving into that. There's quite a few bits to talk about. But before we get all into that, Boohoo Man active. I can actually put my top on. It's not boiling hot in the UK today. It's actually been raining, and I'm very, very pleased to say that we're sponsored by Boohoo Man on the show today, which means we're going to have a question for you because Boohoo Man, it's all about Manchester United trivia and getting active with Boohoo Man. And it's best that we do it in the morning as well. And as the weather gets nicer or cooler, there's plenty to get yourselves dressed up in with Boohoo Man active. Links in the description, or scan the QR code. Was it 20% off? I think it's 40% off. 40% off using the code Goldbridge or scanning the QR code. Loads to get through, and with Boohoo Man, and also always they've got a discount for you. But let's go with the Man United trivia this morning before we get into the show. So here we go. Boohoo Man actively want you to guess who I'm talking about from these clues. See, Boohoo Man actively want you to guess. So, I was born on the 8th of August, 1951. I was not hugely successful as a player, but as a manager, I've won the Eredivisie 4 times, the Bundesliga once, the FA Cup once, and the Champions League once. I managed Manchester United for 2 seasons before taking a managing break in 2016. During my time at Manchester United, I managed 103 games, winning 54 and drawing 24. This gave me a win percentage of 52%. Before joining United, I'd won a league title with every club I had managed. Bloody hell, I never knew that. He's another Mourinho then. Mourinho had won a league title at every club he'd managed before he came to us. And guess what? I'm talking about Louis van Gaal had also won a league title at every club he'd managed before that, which is amazing. We destroy careers, don't we? So it was Louis van Gaal. Thanks everyone for that. Don't forget, as always, you can get 40% off by scanning the QR code or go through in the link description with Boohoo Man Active. Loads of loads of fantastically priced goods. Watch out, Manchester. Watch out, Boohoo Man. Murtagh will be turning up in a minute, buying all your stock. He'll buy anything at the moment. But you can get Boohoo Man Active 40% off. Something like this. T-shirts galore, shorts, active, gym, football, whatever. Links in the description or scan the QR code. Right, without further ado, we're just going to go straight into this. I'm going to put it straight on the club, on the thing. So, lots and lots to get in. Lots of you got Louis van Gaal, which is great. Lots of people moaning that it was clearly a joke from Elon Musk. Well, actually, there's 2 stories I want to talk about here. In fact, there's 3. In fact, there's 4. Okay, so we're going to talk about what Ronaldo has said. We're going to talk about the Casemiros. We're going to talk about the transfers. And we'll delve into that. But what is more important? This chaotic transfer window where we're basically trying to buy anything, supermarket sweep, or the sale of Manchester United. And I think most of us would be more excited about the sale of Manchester United if it was genuine. So what is the situation? Well, I woke up this morning to lots of people tagging me into this Elon Musk thing, which he's took me down. He's took it down, look. Cheeky sod. He's got powers to take it down. It's coming back, don't worry. I woke up this morning to this Elon Musk tweet where he did joke and said, I'm buying Manchester United. And then he clarified it and said, this is what he said. It's a long-running joke on Twitter. I'm not buying any sports team. And that was his response. But he did put a tweet out saying, I'm buying Man United. Now, apparently the share price has gone up. So is that share price manipulation? I think you need to buy us now, Elon, so you don't get fined for share price manipulation. But I'm joking. But seriously, I think the price probably has gone up because of that tweet. I mean, he's got 103 million followers. So, yeah, it did cause a frenzy. Of course it would. So he's had to tweet this. He says, no, it's a long-running joke on Twitter. I'm not buying any sports team. And then he put another tweet out saying, although If it were any team, it would be Man U. They were my favourite team as a kid. So you're telling me there's a chance? Look, I'll take that. He's one of the richest men in the world, and I think if he did buy Manchester United, that we'd be sorted for a very, very long time. Unless he went and appointed Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand on the board, in which case I think we'd be screwed, because I don't want us to do that. I think we need to appoint specialists, not ex-players who've come out with dodgy opinions over the last few years. So, you know, all I want to say is if we do get new owners, I hope they don't come in and try and, you know, get the class of '92 back together as, you know, board members or something like that. We've already got Sir Alex Ferguson on the board. We've already got Darren Fletcher as a technical director. We've had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager. I want Manchester United to get specialists in, and that's what I want to happen. But to get to that point, we need a buyer. Look, there's not a lot of hope in that. That's the truth. It's a hint, but it's a no. If I did it, it would be Man United, but it's a no. I don't know why I wouldn't want to do it. I tweeted him this morning and I said, look, I know you're trying to fly to Mars. What do you think is more important to mankind? Inhabiting Mars or getting Man United back to being Champions Leagues and Premier League winners? I think we all know it's Manchester United back as Premier League winners. Screw Mars. If I was interested in Mars, I'd pop down to Tesco or Poundland and get a packet of 4. I'm not interested in living on Mars. Not interested in this whole bloody alternative fuel argument. Manchester United, I am interested in that. Manchester United on top of the world. That will get you a statue. That will get you remembered by more people. Let's be honest. Tell me the last 10 Nobel Peace Prize winners. Now tell me the last 10 Premier League winners. You'll do it, because unfortunately, life is not moral. It's not a moral life. Football is where GOAT status is. And Elon, you could be a GOAT of all time with a statue outside Old Trafford if you rebuild this football club. The choice is yours. Inhabiting Mars or getting Man United back on top. I think we all know. In fact, I might just run a poll. What's more important? But yeah, look, I don't think the Elon Musk thing is anything to get too excited about at the moment. But there's somebody with money. And you know what? The positive from it is, I've just put the poll out for you there. The positive thing for me is that what it does do, it just generates the conversation. That's what it does. It generates the conversation. Of course, it doesn't look likely that Elon Musk is going to buy Manchester United. But there might be another billionaire out there that goes, oh, he's talking about Man United. Oh, look at all the fans that want him to buy Man United. If you've got an ego, and a lot of billionaires have, Man United's a project that people might be looking at over the last few weeks or the next few weeks and going, you know what? If I buy that club, the positivity, and there's a lot of money to be made out of Manchester United in a positive way, but that's not what we want. We want somebody to come in and rebuild the club. Morning, Mark. Can you give my bro Lewis a shout out? Says Josh. There you go. Be awesome to have Musk. Any more news on Cody, Gekpo, Anthony? Great show, says Marcel. We'll get on to transfers. Elon Musk will treat Man United like a business, Mark, says Mikael Roach. Hey, Mark, heard you and Alex Crook were told Frankie would join before Liverpool. Are their sources still confident and is it still on? Says Jag. I'll speak to them today, actually. I haven't had time. Buying United would be small change for Elon. Not going to happen, but the conversation is ongoing. Exactly. I think that's the positive, Edward. Important thing is the message of the fans have found ears. If the richest man jokes about it, surely other billionaires are clearly aware, says Akshay. Yes, exactly. Now, I did say that there were a couple of other updates before we go into the transfer news about Manchester United and a sale. And of course there are. We all know about Michael Knighton and his consortium, and I think we sort of know what his plan is. He hasn't got the money to build the club. He just wants to get the money to buy the club, which would be a long process, but that's an option. There's also the New York Investment Fund, which is a growing rumour that a New York Investment Fund is trying to buy Manchester United. We don't know anything about this investment fund, but apparently they've got the money to buy United. We don't know what their plan would be. I mean, as I say, I worked in business a few years ago, and an investment fund is something that wants its money back. So if I buy Manchester United with an investment fund, I've got to pay that investment fund back. How do I do that? So I'd be a bit worried about what that investment fund was. And to be honest with you, got to be very careful as Man United fans that we get excited about someone buying the club. Remember, the Glazers can sell to whoever they want. If there are 3 buyers and 2 of them are United fans, but one of them is just, a mercenary, the Glazers can sell to the mercenary. Like, nothing can stop that. So we're in the hands of the Glazers on who they sell to. And who's to say that this New York Investment Fund isn't just a load of Glazers? So you've got to be, out of the fire and into the frying pan there. We could be, we don't know, but there is a very strong rumours about that. And then last night, there was a bit of a misquote that people got excited about. And I do wish, and look, we make mistakes on the United stand. Anyone can make mistakes, and I'm glad to put it down as a mistake. But it was misquoted. There was a quote I read on a couple of United aggregators last night that Manchester United will be sold in the next 24 months from John Smith, who is a football agent who'd been on TalkSport last night. And I went and looked at the article, and to be fair, it did say Man United will be sold in the next 24 months. But when you read the article, it's not that. It has been taken out of context for a bit of a headline, and people have taken it that. Because what was actually said is, I believe Manchester United will be sold in the next 24 hours. Next 24 months. So it actually these were the direct quotes. I believe Man United will be sold in the next 24 months. It may or may not happen. I just get the feeling it might be an option. So it's just a pure opinion piece with no background on the Glazers want to sell or we've got a buyer coming in. So you've got to be careful at the moment because, technically he did say, Man United will be sold in the next 24 months. But actually, when you read the full article, it wasn't. It was completely opinion and we may or may not be sold. And yet people are like getting excited and it's going round on United aggregators. And that sort of thing just frustrates me a bit because we are such a needy fan base at the moment, and you read that on a reputable aggregator account that Man United will be sold in the next 24 months, and nobody's bothered to read the article and actually quote it properly, which is a shame because people get really excited then. So that story has got no attachment to we are up for sale or there is any viable buyer. But there are 2 or 3 options going on in the background at the moment, and we'll just have to wait and see. And I'm hoping that the more noise there is, and that's why that Elon Musk thing this morning is important. The more noise there is about Manchester United being sold, the more people might prick their ears up and go, oh, I'll fancy a bit of that. Because look at the volume of people that wanted to buy Chelsea. Now, surely even some of those people might want to buy Man United. There's got to be interest. But the big thing is, before we move on to transfer stuff, the big thing to take away from this is the Glazers aren't selling. That is what needs to change. There may be buyers out there, but we're not for sale at the moment. The Glazers don't want to sell. And they are in control of this football club. And all I'm hearing at the moment is, we've got a consortium, we've got this, we've got that. But until they want to sell, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if I had 10 billion spare, I wish I bloody did, I'd buy Man United. And I'm sure most of you would. But even if I had 10 billion spare, and the price of United's 5 billion, the Glazers could say we wouldn't sell it to you for 10 because we think in 10 years the club will be worth 15 and we don't want to sell. So they're unwilling buyers at the moment, and that's what we need to work out, and that's what we need to work on, and that's why we need to be collective and unified and work together. Man United Tesla brand would be fire, says Div, and don't want Elon Musk would be just as bad as the Glazers in my opinion, says Red Devil, and Fantasyland, but at least it applies pressure on the Glazers, sceptical with Musk history, manipulating share price, crypto, Twitter, we can dream, says Ross Carroll. Look, I'm not saying that Elon Musk is the right buyer. All I'm saying is that the positive is that, we need to keep it in the news. How do we keep it in the news beyond the next few weeks? If we buy De Jong and Casemiro and João Felix and Anthony in the next couple of weeks, most of you will just be excited and forget about this. So it's how we keep this going month to month to month to month. That's the important thing to me. And, when you talk about things that are going on, I'm sure many of you have heard of the Manchester United Supporters Trust, the Red Army. There is a protest group. Well, I don't know whether they class themselves as a protest group. They're called the 58. Respect to them in the sense that, every week since it started, there has been protests. And all right, sometimes they've not been that big, but they're doing it every week, and that momentum is really, really important, and that is happening again on Monday. So if you're at the game and you want to protest, that is being organised again, so get involved. Okay, let's move on to the transfer news, which is what people want to talk about. Press keeps saying Ronaldo doesn't want to play for United, but in reality nobody does. Does De Jong, Rabiot, or even the players in the current squad, says Rimbic. Yeah, well, look, actually, before we go on to anything else, you make a good point, because I would have completely forgotten about that. I do want to talk about this Casemiro update, but so, Cristiano Ronaldo last night came out with quite a big statement, and effectively he's spoken out. Now, He's basically said this: you'll all know the truth when I do an interview in a few weeks' time. The media only spouts lies. I have a notebook, and out of the last 100 news stories that have been written about me, only 5 have been accurate. You can imagine the way things are. Bear that figure in mind. So this is from Cristiano Ronaldo, basically saying that 95% of the stories written about him are lies. Well, think about the amount of stories you lot believe, whether it's leaving early, whether about he wants to leave, whether about he eats on his own, whether about he's causing problems in the dressing room. I mean, straight away, if 95% of the stories written about him are fake, well, you know that most of those stories I've just said they're a fake. So this is the thing that really, really is down to you as the individual. Do you want to be manipulated by the media? And effectively, what's really happening is the media are being fed by people in the dressing room who are blame shifting. I've said this to you for ages and you don't have to believe it, but effectively, the reason there's so much negativity written about Ronaldo is because these media journalists who are writing it have got people in the dressing room who are not Ronaldo who are trying to blame shift. If I'm a Man United player and I'm crap, am I going to tell a journalist, oh, Ronaldo eats on his own? And this is what's happening. I've said it for bloody months, and some people just don't want to believe it because they want to believe every story in the media. And you shouldn't believe every story in the media. That's why we do a news show. People never understand what this show's all about. We talk about the news and then we talk about whether we believe it's true or not, or have an opinion on it. My stance on Ronaldo has always been very, very clear. And I've had stick for it and I've had people believe me with it. And I know some of you agree with me and some of you don't. But this has always been my stance. Until we know what happens at the end of this transfer window, I'm not believing anything about Ronaldo unless it's coming out of the mouth of the manager. And the manager has always said he's been a model professional. I want him to be here. I love him as a player. I'm planning to work with him. I'm not going to believe that the manager wants to sell him on Sunday because Sky or The Times or The Athletic or Manchester Evening News tell me. I'm going to believe what Ten Hag says with his mouth in a press conference on the Friday. Cristiano Ronaldo has more than earned the respect of this fan base. You might not be old enough. I am. I remember what Ronaldo used to do. I used to go and watch Ronaldo in the late noughties at Old Trafford. He was the best player in the world for me at that time. He won a Ballon d'Or. He was one of the best players I've ever seen. And he's earned the right to moan about the state of this football club. Because I moan and you moan. Unfortunately, we now live in a world where you can actually do a poll on Ronaldo and you'll get 50-50 in the United fan base about whether to sell him or not. I've heard people that normally I'd listen to talk absolute diarrhea about Ronaldo. Oh, he needs to go. You can't treat the club like this. He's left early. He's done this. He's done that. And I'm like, you've been absolutely mugged off publicly, because when Ronaldo speaks in a couple of weeks and reveals the truth about everything, and he may well speak about why he didn't go on the tour, and I hope he does, because that will sit a lot of people down who still say he refused to go on tour, etc. This is going to make a lot of people look really, really wrong. And all I would say is that when you've got a player like that, who is quite clearly our best player, he was man of the match against Brentford as well, which people seem to forget. And I don't know, he didn't play well, but he was still man of the match. Player of the year last year, 18 goals in a terrible season, one of the greatest players we've ever had at this football club. The way he's been treated over this summer by the media, which I would expect, and some of our fans, which I wouldn't expect, is disgusting. And I cannot wait for the truth to come out in a couple of weeks, because he is going to expose the bullshit that's been written about him over the last month. And if you can't see that you're being manipulated because he is being scapegoated, then you need to learn a little bit about life, and you need to learn a little bit about the media, and you need to learn about blame shifting, because all these stories about Ronaldo, the bloody eats on his own. I mean, what's Ronaldo doing? All the United players are sat round one table eating, and he's on his own eating his sandwich. I mean, what? It's so ludicrous when you actually picture the story. And that's because it's just simply not true. It's really players who want to blame. If I've had a rubbish game last season and I've had a rubbish game against Brentford and Brighton, what better way to take the attention off me than to blame it on Ronaldo? Have we had any articles this week about why Scott McTominay's a footballer? Have we had any articles this week about why Harry Maguire's the worst Man United captain we've ever had and will still captain us against Liverpool? Have we had any articles about when was the last time Bruno Fernandes had a decent game for United, because it's not been in the last 20? Like, no, I've not seen any articles about that, because it's all about that squad leaking about Ronaldo, and they know it's a well-trodden path. If you have a bad game, get onto a journalist, make a lie up about Ronaldo, and then everyone will talk about Ronaldo. He's a human being, and I'm sure he's used to criticism, but he has been scapegoated beyond belief. And I will tell you something right now, and I know this is true. If he was English, we would adore him in this country because he would be one of the greatest players there's ever been, and we'd be right up his arse. And no ex-player and no media outlet would put up with the way he's been hounded over the last month and blamed and scapegoated. But because it's Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese arrogant man, which is what everybody seems to think, it's fair game to throw every lie you can. And I think it's absolutely brilliant that he's come out and called it out, and he's going to come out in 2 weeks and expose it. And I can't wait to see it. Now, I saw Gary Neville tweet this morning, and I had to quote tweet it because he said, we want the truth now. Why can't you come out and speak now? And I just replied and I said, Gary, join the dots. What happens in 2 weeks' time? The transfer window closes. That's why he's going to reveal all in 2 weeks, because he may not be a Man United player in 2 weeks, or he might be a Man United player in 2 weeks. But the transfer window will be closed, and therefore it'll be a safer time to tell the truth, won't it? So let's wait and see what happens. But I think the behaviour and leaks from that club are a disgrace, and we've scapegoated a player who didn't deserve it, in my opinion. And you should always wait for the truth to come out. And we'll hear what Ten Hag's got to say on Friday, because I guarantee you on Friday Ten Hag will say he's not for sale and I want to keep him again. I'm not going to say it now. We need to get relegated, drop the price of United, force the Glazers to sell. Thank you very much for that. And journos have been on a power trip lately with United. It's so clear. They try and give opinion like it's fact, and I'm sick of it, says David. That's because the journalists... I don't really blame the journalists, because they'll always say dressing room sources or sources at United, and what that means is some bitch who wants to lie about Ronaldo to protect themselves. Do you think Ronaldo will speak on the captaincy and favouritism that runs through the club, says Julian? I think the club will be shitting themselves, yes. Julian, I think the best thing that could happen at this point, and I've said it before, as somebody who thinks Ronaldo's not done anything wrong, he just wants out of a shit club, I think the best thing is that in 2 weeks' time he's playing for somebody else, and then he does the interview, and he basically reveals all about that football club. Now, United might have it in his contract that he can't do that, because managers can't do that, but we'll have to wait and see. Sushi says, it's time for you to admit that the Ronaldo return has helped bring the club down like Ollie and the Glazers. I think you're in the minority there, but well done for having an opinion. Rashford, McFred, Fridge will be very nervous if Ronaldo does go ahead with his interview, says Icky. Well, the truth needs to come out, because instead of talking about Ronaldo every bloody day, we should be talking about, why does Scott McTominay get paid to play football? Why is Harry Maguire the captain? Why is Bruno Fernandes still farting at farting games? You could say that. He is shit. I love Bruno, but he has been shit. Why is Marcus Rashford so powerful at the club and plays every week when he's been crap for 18 months? What's happening with Jadon Sancho? He's been here for over a year, and I just don't know what's going on with Sancho. I mean, look, this channel is about all opinions. Sancho's a player I like, Rashford's a player I like, Bruno's a player I like, but I'll call it out for when they're not playing well. There's a video this morning, you need to check it out. It's pinned at the top of the live chat, or you can go through the homepage. Beth talking about David De Gea. I completely disagree with it. The comments on that video are very interesting. I've had people emailing me say, sack Beth for being disloyal, but what you're talking about, like, it's a fan channel. If Beth thinks that David De Gea needs to go, then Beth thinks David De Gea needs to go. Like, I don't agree with that, but surely that's what we want. I don't want this community to be David De Gea is absolutely the GOAT, and anyone who thinks not can piss off. Like, I think it's a very good video from Beth, so check it out outside Old Trafford. It went up at 7 o'clock this morning. I'll remind you again at the end of the video. Juve players, including legends like Buffon, says Malavia. Shut up, Malavia. It worked out really well for Juve when Ronaldo left, didn't it? And look, why do I give a shit about Juventus and what they say about Ronaldo? People seem to forget that this is not Ronaldo's first time at United. Like, Ronaldo is not happy at United because he knows what United should be. He was here when we were successful. Like, I don't give a shit what Harry Maguire says. I don't give a shit what Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes. I don't care what any of those people have got to say. I'll listen to Ronaldo because he's done it at this club. And people forget this. He's done it at this club. He won a Ballon d'Or, Premier League titles, Champions League, scored shitloads of goals. He's done it at this club. People act like he's never played here before. Like last season was his first year. He knows what this club is. He can see what it should be and what it is now. Hi Mark, please wish my dad Dion a happy birthday, says Darren. Happy birthday to Dion. There you go. Anyway, let's move on with some transfer news. A lot of people are talking about the Beth thing now. Watch the video. Watch the video. Right. Anyway, let me just end the poll. What's more important, inhabiting Mars or rebuilding United? 73% of you said rebuild United. Elon, if you know, you know. Percentage that Ronaldo stays, Marks, has major. But I want Ronaldo to go now for his own good. He wants to go. I want him to go. He deserves to go. He's been shit on. This season's going to be terrible. Unless we're going to do some madness in the next 2 weeks in the transfer window and you know, make him happy to stay, I actually would like Ronaldo to go. I mean, I actually think he deserves to play in the Champions League this season. I hope he finds a Champions League club, and I hope United let him go. We're a shit show. Why should he suffer anymore? As fans, it's our job to try and get this club back, but this club's not going anywhere for 3 or 4 years at least. Well, Ronaldo will be retired by then, so yeah, he's absolutely right, and I hope he does publicly expose all the problems at Man United, because it's about time the truth came out, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's get on with a bit of transfer news. Very interesting story, this one. Don't know whether you'd seen it. So Samuel Luckhurst, who also has said this morning, Manchester Evening News chief Manchester United correspondent, said that John Murtagh is under increasing pressure. Now, I've noticed that this has been a theme with Manchester Evening News for the last few days now, really going in on Murtagh. And I applaud it. But I now wonder if they're going in on Murtagh because they're actually getting a bit of information from the club that Murtagh's under pressure. He needs to go. It's funny, I was having a chat with somebody this morning on the phone, and they were saying, if we did get a new owner, what would you do? And I said, if we got a new owner, the first thing I would do is I'd try and get Ralph Rangnick back ASAP, because that's the sort of person we need. We actually had the right person. We needed somebody to come into the club, assess the squad, and then go into the director of football role and rebuild the squad. That we were on the right track. We actually did the right thing in getting Rangnick in. I'm not really interested in him as a coach, because that was never what he was going to be. I wanted Rangnick to come in and rebuild the club as a sporting director. That is what Manchester United need. And basically what happened with Murtagh is he recommended Rangnick, stabbed him in the back and sacked him, and then thought he could do the job himself. We're living in a Murtagh nightmare here, because he's caused all this. If United had competent people in the CEO role or the ownership role, Murtagh would already be sacked, because it's very obvious that Rangnick should have been taking Murtagh's job in May, and Ten Hag should have been told that and had no power in whether it happened or not. We should have said to Ten Hag in the interview, Rangnick's the director of football, no matter what. Is that a problem for you? It's a problem for me. All right, Poch, it's your job. That's what we should have done. Rangnick should not have been an option for anybody. It shouldn't have been, do you want to work with him? Would you like? No, Rangnick should have been in as director of football. But unfortunately, Murtagh stabbed him in the back, got rid of him. That is what United need. We need somebody like Ralph Rangnick to come into the club who knows the European market like the back of his hand, the world transfer market, considering he was mentioning people like Alvarez to us as well, and Enzo Fernandez. This was the guy that we should have had this summer, and that's the first thing I would do. I'd try and get him out of Austria and back, because or somebody similar to that who knows how to do that. Hi Mark, can you wish my friend Daryl a happy birthday? Says Groundhog Day. Happy birthday to Adam as well off the United stand. Just reminded me it's his birthday as well. Mark, how you like players like Bruno, Rashford, Shaw now, who are all dogs, who are all blame shifters? I feel ashamed that they're United players. Says Jay. And hi Mark, remember in March when we thought United got Mitchell, Rangnick and Eric working together to rebuild the club? We were sold dreams, says Ty. And yeah, okay, so let's talk about this one on the screen here. So Murtagh's under pressure. Let's hope it leads to him getting the sack, because now I think no matter what happens over the next 2 weeks now, it's not part of the plan. So this was from Samuel Luckhurst today. It's unclear if Casemiro is receptive to joining United, or whether his representatives are using United as a negotiation tactic to obtain an improved salary. But sources say Casemiro is deemed more attainable than Frenkie de Jong. This is a huge concern, this story, because this means that the Frenkie de Jong deal is approaching not happening. There's more and more coming out about De Jong now that it just looks like we've wasted a whole summer. Sack Murtagh and Arnold, yes. Director of football has to be a football man, says Clive Roberts. But this is really, really surprising because I speak to people who are Real Madrid fans and journalists, and they say, I can't see Ancelotti selling Casemiro. I just can't see him doing it. He's a really important player. And whether he starts or not, we've got Tchouaméni, we've got Kroos, Modric and Camavinga, but Casemiro is still a very important player in a squad that's going to try and win the Champions League and La Liga. Makes no sense to sell him, and Ancelotti loves him. Also, why would Casemiro want to leave Real Madrid, who will compete for the Champions League and La Liga, to come to Manchester United and basically end his career? Because he's 31 in February. Man United might not be a good team again for the next 5 or 6 years, in which case he's just ending his career earning money. There's no trophies in it. So basically from Madrid, one, we don't think we'll sell him, and two, I can't see why Casemiro would want to do it. So effectively you're just hoping he's a mercenary. But also in relation to what Samuel's saying there, he's just signed a new contract this summer. So why would he be using us to get a new pay rise or a new salary? Because I'm pretty sure he signed a new contract this summer. So the fact that Casemiro is more likely than De Jong and Casemiro's not likely really is very concerning. You can add Caicedo into that. Fabrizio Romano's talking about Caicedo, but again, not for sale. And if he was for sale, you'd be paying silly money for him. I tweeted it last night, and I think it's true. What Man United are doing at the moment is they're approaching clubs and players and throwing money at them and just hoping that they're mercenaries. I mean, that's not... And what I mean by that is none of these players want to come to United. Even when we throw big money at them, like Rabiot, he still wants more money. Like, nobody wants to come to United unless we pay them stupid money. So effectively, our only way of buying players now is if somebody takes the stupid money, which means they're a mercenary. Because a mercenary is somebody who just does something for money. We can't get... We're long past the stage of bringing in players who actually want to play for Man United, which is what one of Rangnick's key principles was. Rangnick said, you go for players on their first or second contract who are hungry and want to make the step up. We're now going for players who it would be their final big payday, who are just coming for the money, which is what we've done for 10 years. So I don't want to labour the fact of what Rangnick was right and he knew what to do. But we're way past that now. We're not bringing players in who are coming in, because they're hungry. We're bringing in players in because they're mercenaries. And even they're saying no. So, who's next? Icardi. Romano said Icardi's been offered to us, but probably wouldn't want to come. Unless it was stupid money, probably. Vardy's been mentioned. There's a story about João Felix today. Why? I love João Felix, but why? Like, João Felix, is he an out-and-out forward? Not really. Would João Felix and Bruno work in the same team? I don't think so. Would he cost ridiculous money? Yes. It's just chaotic on transfers, which is why I'm glad that we've left it towards the end of the video. Even if United spend millions more on players, the club has the capability of devaluing players by making them crap, says Phil. United will never have a decent CEO because the Glazers employ businessmen, not football men, says Sporty. And hi Mark, any insight on the state of our academy at the moment? Feels like it's another significant part of the club the Glazers have neglected, says Will. No, the academy's, we've got some good players coming through the academy. The worrying thing about the academy is that you create a player like James Garner and then instead of investing in him, you sell him. It's... it is very concerning in that sense. And I think that... one thing I will say is we will buy players in the next 2 weeks. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. I think that the fan base is very fed up at the moment, and it's very easy to say we're not going to buy anybody. Absolutely, categorically, 100%. We're going to buy players in the next 2 weeks, and I'd say 100% we're going to buy a midfielder. Don't spend on money grabbers. Play youth. Who cares? Says Joseph. You make a great point. Are we not better keeping James Garner and just playing him than buying a player who doesn't want to be here on 300 grand a week, whatever? Like, we're going to be crap this season anyway. And the problem with buying a mercenary is we need people who are good enough to roll their sleeves up. We will buy players over the next 2 weeks. God knows what we'll get. And as I said, we could get lucky. We might stumble on a player that's a really good signing. But It's not planned. It's just luck. The reality is we'll probably overspend on somebody who's not good enough, who will end up being a flop, because that's what tends to happen with United when we get to this desperation stage. What I would say, though, is if you'd said to me in April, who would I rather buy, Casemiro or De Jong? Now, considering Casemiro is 30 and he'll be 31 this year and De Jong is 25, you would think that you would go for De Jong. If you'd have asked me in April when I didn't know we were even going to be in for De Jong, I would have gone for Casemiro, because he is exactly the sort of midfielder we need. He's good on the ball, but he's tenacious and can run the midfield physically. I don't think De Jong's a very physical midfielder, and I think he could get overrun in the Premier League. I mean, I can't remember who said it, but I agree. They were talking about the Brentford game, and they said Eriksen got completely and utterly overrun in that midfield, but they said I actually think De Jong would have done as well. Since when is Frankie De Jong a midfielder that can play on his own in a CDM role and run a game physically? And you know, he'd get overwhelmed. And I actually do agree with that. So someone like a Casemiro is more of a physical midfielder. So if you'd have asked me in April, I probably would have took Casemiro over De Jong, because I think he's more suitable for what we need. But now, would I take Casemiro over De Jong? Well, no, because the whole summer has been ruined by the focus on De Jong. So you've got to deliver the play, and also it's not what I want; it's what the manager wants. So it's just a real big shame, because you know Malacia is a player that Malacia is probably a Rangnick type of signing. He is a step up player. Nothing wrong with him. Martinez, we've just overpaid. The problem with Martinez, if we paid 35 million, people wouldn't be bothered, but we've paid 20 million more. We've overpaid on Martinez, which is just, you know, in another way, it's a bit like Maguire. Maguire's not a terrible centre-back. We just paid double the price we should have done. And Martinez, it's way too early to judge, but we did overpay. Eriksen's a free, and that's our summer. Anthony was desperate to come United. Not here. So, yeah, but look, I don't think we'll get Casemiro. I really don't. Everything I'm hearing from Madrid is that won't happen, and he doesn't want to come. And you know, again, it's like we were talking about last night. We can see the problem in deals that the club will just go ahead and try. Like, we knew Rabiot was a mercenary, and so lo and behold, it's happened. We knew Arnautovic was a PR nightmare, and they still tried to do it. We've all been saying over the summer that this De Jong deal is a bloody disaster. Why are we so confident when, you know, the warning signs have been there since the middle of May, and lo and behold, it's come to pass. And now we're chasing Casemiro, and what is the fan base saying? Fantastic player, but he won't want to come, and Madrid won't want to sell. And we're probably going to waste another week on Casemiro to find that out. Casido, look, we should have got him a couple of years ago, but to be honest with you, if we'd have got him a couple of years ago, I don't think he'd be as good as he is now, because we would have fucked up the development there. You know, Brighton coaching compared to Ollie coaching is very different. So Casido was absolutely right to go to Brighton. Are we going to waste 2 weeks trying to get Casido? Because Brighton aren't going to sell him. So we just seem to be wasting time on things that you and I know are a waste of time, but the club go, yeah, let's waste time on it. And that's the big issue, isn't it? We're just wasting so much time. And I think that where we go next, and look, it's only 10:30 in the morning here in the UK. You absolutely know that at some point today there's a story that's going to hit that we're not aware of, that's going to, you know, cause massive problems. I mean, look, there is another report coming out from Spain that Casemiro is considering a move to Manchester United. He would be given a huge wage increase. And there's also a story coming out that Manchester United representatives met with João Felix entourage. United want to sign Felix, but Athletic have firmly stated they don't want to get rid of their franchise player at the moment in time. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy, actually. So Casemiro, we would probably pay him 350 grand a week, and we'd pay Real Madrid 50 million. I really think we're heading towards Leeds in the early noughties here. I mean, I don't know whether Richard Arnold's got any representative that watches the United stand, but please get this message to him. Don't let Murtagh do this. Don't. He is desperate. He is desperate and he's going to fucking bankrupt this football club. What are we doing? £50 million and 350 grand a week for a player that's going to be 31 in February. I like Casemiro, but he's got to want to come to the club. You can't just chuck stupid money at this. What if he does his knee? He's 31 this season. What if he's done his knee? He's finished. His career's finished. And you've spent £50 million and 350 grand on him. Like, where's the future planning? What are we doing? Like, it's just pure desperation. And as I said, you might get really lucky. I mean, what are we doing talking to Atletico Madrid about João Felix? They spent £100 million on him 2 years ago. There's just no way. What do you think they're going to do? You can have him for 20. Or have him on loan. I just don't. João Felix and Casemiro are fantastic players. I'd love them at Man United, but not in the last 2 weeks of a window where we're just desperately throwing stupid money at everything. Enough is enough. Somebody's got to step in and just say, stop, John. Stop it. You're pissed. Get out. It's scary what we're trying to do. And, you know, what's next? Messi, you know, what we're going to give Mbappe 90% of the club and sign him. We are in that stage of just pure desperation. And like I say, some of the names we're being linked to, I don't think any of us would be opposed to signing if it was part of the plan and they wanted to join us. But we're literally going round trying to get a mercenary. We're just going, how much to come to the club? Well, I don't want to join you. 400 grand. Okay, here I come. 400 grand a week. United getting rid of Ronaldo and going for Kuna is like Oasis getting rid of Liam Gallagher and replacing with the singer out of the Lighthouse family, says Manchester. Hey, don't knock the Lighthouse family, some good songs. Mark, do a list of our top 5 most played players in our last 5 trophyless years. Good point, Julian. Good point. Take your pick from Tillemans, Lehmann, Neves, Paradis. This really shouldn't be difficult. Well, exactly, James. I mean, instead of going for De Jong or Casemiro and paying them ridiculous money and ridiculous transfer fees, you could just get Tillemans and Lehmann and I'd be happy. If we bought Tillemans and Lehmann, we'd get them for less than 60 million combined. Their wages would be less than 150 grand a week. And they're both in their mid-20s. And they're both good enough to make us challenge for top 4 and rebuild the club. I mean, it's a great point, and it's one many of you have been making. Casemiro will be 31 this year. In 2 or 3 years, he's finished. De Jong doesn't even want to be here. Lehmann and Tillemans are both in their mid-20s. They cost you £25 million each, and their wages would be less than 150 grand each. So you spend about £50 million on wages, £50 million on transfer fees combined, reasonable wages, and you've got 2 players in their mid-20s who are going to make us much better instantly, who will be here for the next 6-7 years. What, again, you know, but the reason you can come up with that idea is because you've got a brain and you support the club. We've got people in charge. They just don't know what they're doing. And the reason, they just don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. It's absolute chaos. And yeah, Casemiro's a good player and De Jong's a good player and João Felix is a fantastic player, but they're not really the answer when you're chucking 300-400 grand a week at them. Seeing the Glazers, Sat Rangnick was telling Seams he knows what he's talking about and could take the club in the right direction, says Sabish. I honestly think the Glazers aren't the problem at United, it's the culture. I do not think the owners dictate the culture, says Wham. Well, the owner of a restaurant dictates the menu. They employ the chefs. You know, simple as that. Anyway, look. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the QR code or go through the link in the description. Boohooman Active. Get your orders in. 40% off with the code Goldbridge or go through the scan the QR code. And most importantly, the link's in the description and you can get it delivered to your door. Thanks to Boohooman. But also, don't forget on your way out to click the pinned chat. Beth on De Gea. Very controversial video this morning. Do you agree with Beth on De Gea? I don't, but the video is there and it's all about opinion. It's on the homepage or you can click the link in the chat. It's a few minutes long and I think you'll be very interested to watch it and then read the comments. Speak to you all a little bit. We'll be back at 2 o'clock unless anything happens before. And thanks everyone.